As a submarine officer with 40 years of active service in the United States Navy, I was thrilled to be asked by Nick Jellicoe to write the foreword for Jellicoe's War, the U-boat threat in World War I and the question of Convoy. This book is about the rise of the German submarine force in the First World War and the implementation of convoy operations to disrupt German efforts to interdict Allied sea lines of communication, SLOCs. Jellicoe's account is meticulously researched, and unlike other attempts to simply document the tonnage achieved by the Dark Knights of the Atlantic Corridor, German U-boat commanders, this book weaves together hundreds of stories of both cruelty and bravado on the high seas. As a campaign which almost brought the Allies to their knees, it is well worth your time to delve into the First Battle of the Atlantic. Not since reading Theodore Roscoe's comprehensive history of U.S. submarine operations in the First World War as an ensign aboard my first submarine in 1982 have I enjoyed a book dedicated to the art of submarine warfare this much. Roscoe's voluminous tome was on board every submarine on which I served. During annual submarine birthday balls, after the tolling of the bells, it was there to tell our story. The commanding officer, CO, or executive officer, XO, would read of a daring mission, a harrowing approach, or an attack in the Atlantic or Pacific theaters of the Second World War. During the readings, there was deafening silence on the mess decks as the crew listened to the accomplishments of those who sailed before us, in arduous conditions and on boats that had none of the creature comforts of the nuclear-powered submarines of today. And during every Dolphin Awards ceremony I ever attended, citations were read. I also had the great honor and fortune of meeting some whose exploits were detailed in Roscoe's book. Some of the most memorable were Medal of Honor winners like Rear Admiral Dick O'Kane, CO USS Tang, Rear Admiral Eugene Lucky Flucky, CO USS Barb, the galloping ghost of the China coast, and Vice Admiral Lawson P. Red Ramage, CO USS Parchie. Likewise, it was my pleasure to get to know Captain Edward L. Beach, another submarine hero of the Second World War, CO of USS Piper, and later the nuclear-powered submarine USS Triton, the first nuclear-powered boat to circumnavigate the Earth. Beach was naval aide to President Eisenhower before he retired, and later one of the most influential authors at the U.S. Naval Institute in Annapolis, Maryland. His book, Run Silent, Run Deep, 1955, was on the New York Times bestseller list for months before becoming an acclaimed Hollywood movie starring Clark Gable and Burt Lancaster. I think Beach would have enjoyed reading Nick Jellicoe's latest book. Jellicoe's War chronicles Admiral Jellicoe's journey from a young naval officer to command of the Grand Fleet which engaged the German High Seas Fleet.